In 2015, with Minecraft being the most played game in the world, rumors started to appear that we would have Minecraft 2.0. And then, at the end of that same year, a new game was released, a game that nowadays has been completely forgotten and is no longer available anywhere. This game is called Minecraft Story Mode, which basically contributed to the bankruptcy of a company and started Mojang's list of failures. Today, in a nostalgic way, let's recap the story of this game, which even though it was a decent 7 out of 10, Mojang simply forced us to forget about it. What was Minecraft Story Mode like and why did it fail? That's what we're going to find out now. In December 2014, an interactive minigame appeared on Mojang's website called Infocast 2. This game announced the collaboration between Mojang Studios and Telltale Games. Telltale gained fame in the last decade for creating narrative games. And an example of this type of game is The Walking Dead saga, where in the game your choices directly affect the story and could cause good or bad things. The craze for interactive endings, where each friend could control and experience a different in-game story, was a huge hype at the time, and people expected that for the new Minecraft game. At Minecon 2015, the trailer for Minecraft Story Mode was finally released. The developers said the idea for this game existed long before Microsoft acquired Mojang, driving fans wild with excitement. Many expected Minecraft 2 to feature extensive exploration, building, and adventure elements. Besides that, other people imagined that the game would tell the lore of Minecraft. Despite being around for over a decade, there isn't much known about the story behind our beloved blocky game. With high expectations, Minecraft Story Mode was released on October 13th, 2015. Nearly all YouTubers recorded a series of gameplay videos trying out the release, from Resident Evil to even Venextreme. In particular, let's take a look at a segment from the guys Taser and Craft.
Let's go! Look, there's Ruben.
Wow, that's...
Look at the size of that, guys! Wow, it's huge, right, sir? Did I catch those people over there? It's pulling me in, it's pulling me in. I'm here, guys. Hold the road, Galeno. Wow, Galeno won't help me, huh? Galeno pass by, Galeno pass by, Galeno pass by.
Use
You to move forward. I'm using it. But go, it drags itself. I'm using W. That's cool, guys. Wow, I did it. Wow, nice shot. You really did it, Dan. See you. Now the guy is jumping. I'm going to the mall jumping.
The game was split into 5 episodes, released at intervals of 2 weeks to 3 months. Besides that, Telltale even released a second season, and believe it or not, part of the game ended up on Netflix. But hold on, we'll get there. And as many already predicted by knowing Telltale's style, Minecraft Story Mode is an interactive story based on the world of Minecraft, with puzzles and choices about what the protagonist has to do to move the story forward, like defeating mobs and talking to characters. The game is set in a blocky world once home to the Order of the Stone, comprising Gabriel, the fearsome warrior, Eligard, the redstone farm inventor, Magnus, who used explosives for good, and Soren, the architect, world creator, and leader of the Order. Together they killed the Ender Dragon, becoming legends. So my friends, if you have already managed to kill the Ender Dragon, does that make you legendary? I admit I've never played Minecraft Survival seriously, so I've never reached that part. In the game, the player controls Jesse, making choices that shape the story's direction. You're accompanied by your friends Axel, Olivia, and the best character Ruben the pig on your adventure. And no, Ruben wouldn't just be there for decoration. I consider him the protagonist, always accompanying the player in all the toughest moments. At the start of the story, the player and his friends attend an event called EnderCon to participate in a building competition, also known as a build battle. The winner will meet Gabriel, a member of the Order of the Stone. However, during the event, Ivor creates the Witherstorm, essentially a wither with a command block core, which uncontrollably destroys everything in its path. And to solve this, the player needs to gather the Order of the Stone, and with unshakable courage, try to bring peace back to their beloved world. And depending on your previous choices, you can recruit Eligard, the one who knows how to work with redstone, or Magnus, the expert in explosives. At the start, the player pursues the other members. Soren, for example, simply lives in the end, getting a little crazy from studying the Enderman. And then, after finding him and finally convincing him to help, he provides a powerful bomb, powerful enough to defeat the Witherstorm. And in fact, with this bomb, our heroes manage to defeat the Witherstorm and free all the people it had devoured. But perfection eludes as the Wither rises again, now split into 3 separate monsters, each with its own head. A Minecraft player doesn't get a minute of peace. Faced with the new threat, the group realizes they need an enchanted book to defeat the monster. But where can they find this book? In Ivor's laboratory, which, if you remember, he was the one who created and lost control of the Witherstorm. And you know what else? It's revealed that he was also part of the Order of the Stone. Plot twist after plot twist, and the best part is that this laboratory is literally in the Farlands, the edge of Minecraft. If played right, the player ultimately gets the enchanted book and enchants their weapon. Finally, the Witherstorm is defeated for good, but at a high price. Ruben, the best character of all, dies unexpectedly in an emotional moment. Because he's basically the protagonist and is sacrificed at the last moment. At that time, there wasn't a single man who could hold back his tears. And on top of that, in the game, a pork chop appears after he dies. You can be two types of people. Some laugh, some are traumatized by this scene. F in the chat for Ruben, he was like a Midas to us. After Winterstorm's defeat, the player and the New Order of the Stone embark on adventures to find new treasures. That was a brief summary of the first 5 episodes of Season 1. And the thing is, because this game sold well and was well talked about at the time, in 2017 we got a new season. Despite being released 12 years later and not as famous as the first one, they made the first episode available for free. And the story takes a very different direction with other characters who end up overshadowing the friends we made before. But who even cares about them if Ruben isn't with us anymore? In summary, the player faces a new adversary, Admin, who abuses his powers to manipulate the world and its inhabitants, imposing his own rules and causing chaos. So your mission is obviously to stop him, and in this adventure the player discovers Admin's past and what happened for him to turn to the dark side. Nice fanfic, but well, enough storytelling, let's get to the game itself. Why was this game forgotten by Mojang? One notable point is the absence of classic characters like Steve and Alex, which disappointed many players. However, Telltale gave an explanation for this. They didn't want to rewrite the vision that players already had of these characters. Regarding the game's mechanics, negative criticisms outweigh the positive ones. Despite taking nearly a year for the initial full release, the game is essentially built around player choices. And that wouldn't be a problem, except that if you really look at it, only 5 out of the countless options you choose actually change the course of the story. Another downside of the game's mechanics is that, unlike other titles like Minecraft Dungeons, in story mode, puzzle solving takes place in small, closed environments with limited exploration, making the challenges easy to solve quickly due to their simplicity. But was Super Lozo being a decent game really enough for Minecraft Story Mode to be considered a failure? Actually, no. The biggest problem with Minecraft Story Mode is carrying the Minecraft name in the title. When we think of Minecraft, what comes to mind is a creative game with the freedom to do whatever we want. If you want to finish the game by killing the Ender Dragon, you can. If you just want to build a village and live with your dog, you can. And if you just want to create your own story within the game with several mods and a script, you can do that too. Minecraft remains one of the world's most popular and best-selling games even after 15 years. In short, a new release with this name carries high expectations. Story mode, featuring a pre-made narrative, significantly deviated from expectations. On Netflix, the game essentially became a movie due to its predictable storyline. The game on the streaming service had improved graphics but lost most of its original gameplay. In late 2022, Minecraft Story Mode was released on Netflix with reduced choices and no cutscenes. To solidify my point about breaking expectations, let's do a comparison. On Internet Movie Database, the review website, Minecraft Story Mode game received a 6.5 star rating. Netflix rated it 5.8 stars. Why? Different platforms have different audiences. No one expects a narrative game from a creativity-based game. Alright, it was a decent game buried by its own hype, but why did it disappear from the map? In September 2018, Telltale declared bankruptcy. The company behind Minecraft Story Mode abruptly shut down, claiming that only The Walking Dead Season 1 from 2012 was profitable. The company had reputable investors and secured big brand names for their games. However, greed was ultimately their biggest downfall. With the success of The Walking Dead, the company thought it had found the perfect formula for success and just copied that formula in other games they made for big brands. As a result, they accumulated many contracts, which reduced the game's quality due to rushed and superficial development. They relied heavily on franchise success, lacking original games. As the years passed, Telltale's financial troubles worsened, leading to layoffs and eventually the company's closure in September 2018, resulting in the loss of their Mojang partnership and official Minecraft rights. And with them closing, none of their games could be sold and Minecraft Story Mode was removed from everywhere forever. Telltale lost its originality and embraced superficiality. Replicating a formula that worked, unfortunately, wouldn't work forever. And at the time of all this, Mojang itself made a statement saying that if you happen to have bought all the seasons, you should download all the episodes before the service was discontinued in 2019. So if you've still had it downloaded since back then, you're lucky to be able to play it officially nowadays. And finally, on June 25th, 2019, Minecraft Story Mode left the market, leaving only nostalgia in our hearts. However, in late August of that year, Telltale was acquired. This brought back hope that a third season could be on the way, to the joy of some fans. However, the company likely doesn't own the rights to Minecraft anymore, and that concept seems quite far-fetched today. In the end, Mojang probably does want to forget this game. Even though they could have provided support to keep the game online, they simply gave up on the idea and completely discarded it. Because of that, Minecraft Story Mode is truly a forgotten game which lives on only in our hearts.